I didn't know I was under any kind of stress. I didn't feel any different. In fact, I felt quite fit. We were doing quite a lot of work, planning to do this, planning to do that. It really was totally unexpected.
I was very blissfully happy. Retirement was marvellous. I had no anxieties or worries. I'm very lucky. I'm blessed with very good health. So this thing rather came out of the blue.
Something was just, it was like a sixth sense said, get up, there's something not right. And I found him on the floor here, and I knew he was in trouble. I knew it was serious.
I was being told that that Imogen had collapsed at work and ambulance were attending.
I had a normal week at work. Apparently I went to work absolutely fine. I did a ward round with Lottie, and halfway through the conversation I just dropped dead.
You kept pointing, didn't you? Right there, specifically right there, saying, I've got this pain right there. And I said to Trevor, well, I don't think you're having a heart attack. I said, because you haven't got a pain down your arm or the back of your shoulder or down your back of your neck.
It almost sounded like snoring, but it didn't sound right. It was very loud noise, and I went in and he was laying on the floor and sort of wedged against the bed, and I just couldn't rouse him. So I immediately rang 999.
I'm coming up to the traffic lights and I see them turn red, and for some reason I thought I'll put the handbrake on and I'm just going to close my eyes for 2 minutes, and that's the last thing I remember.
It was coming up towards the end of our day, so we were heading back towards a station, fortunately fairly close by to where the incident happened.
I remember pulling over, loads of traffic, it was raining, and there was a lot of Land Rover parked up on the curb of this M25 bridge, and you can see this guy trying to give someone else chest compressions in the car.
I just ran around to Hugh, realised he was in trouble, and I thought first thing I've got to do is get the emergency services on the way. But while I was doing it, I just instinctively started doing CPR while he was in the chair, and just shouting at him, trying to get him to recover and to sort of keep talking going.
Got to the house, went upstairs, and he was on the floor. He looked quite pale.
Upon our arrival, Paul's wife was doing really good chest compressions, so the police medic Barry took over compressions, which gave myself and Kate ample time to fit the AED and maintain the airway.
I took my instructions really from the lady on the phone, to be honest with you. I know I've been a nurse for 40 years, but I completely went into, oh my God, this is Dr. Campbell, what do we do? And she calmed us down. If it hadn't been for her, I just think we'd have gone to pieces a bit, really.
It was incredibly fortunate that Dr. Leslie's position was just a few moments away from the ambulance station nearby, and that I think was paramount to his success.
I just remember giving them the instructions through NHS pathways and then counting out, and I believe the wife was counting out as the son was doing it. It was a really comfortable call, and obviously I think the son did an amazing job of actually just knowing that it is his father as well, of actually just doing it, and he obviously did an amazing job.
It didn't seem that long until those guys in those green uniforms were in that bedroom, and the relief, there's certain things you remember, the sounds that Alex made, the terrible look on Sam's face when he was trying to do the CPR on his dad, but the complete look of relief on his face when these professional guys walked in and just took over.
Having 3 people who knew what they were doing with the kit that they required was really, really great.
Never been so grateful to see somebody as when they came through the door and they basically took over then, really, which was brilliant.
We shocked him, and I believe we got Ross momentarily. We had to shock him again a few more times, I believe.
We were told by the consultant then that that the next 24 hours would be tricky because his heart was so unstable. And so I remember saying to the consultant there, I said, well, I don't want to go home without a husband. I don't want to go home for my daughter without a father. So, and she said, well, we'll do all we can.
The immediate aftermath of all this, when I was lying in my hospital bed, you lie there thinking, that's it, I've had a warning shot across the bows and I'm going to change everything. And there were moments when give up work, go away, buy a Ferrari, you know, have fun. I don't worry about things so much. There's nothing dramatic, you know, as I keep saying to everybody, you know, what's the worst that's going to happen? It's already happened to me, so that's it. So yes, I take it a lot more calmly now.
I've now got all this ironmongery inside me, as I call it. ICD, pacemakers, stents and goodness knows what. But that doesn't have any effect. No, life goes on just as it did before, really.
I don't tend to worry about things as I used to, because I think the worst thing you can sort of worry about dying, if you like. Well, I did, only for about 5 minutes or so, but I did. So you think, well, I've done that, so I don't worry so much about things. I think, well, I've done the worst. Anything else is a bonus, so make the most of it.
I try not to let things get to me the way they might have done before, because it's, you know, it's a realisation that it's too short, life's too short. I think in many respects I'm the lucky one, because I'm not mentally scarred from it. As I say, it's more my son and my daughter and Caroline that have suffered. And in some respects I feel like guilty. You know, look what I've done.
You have to move on, you have to get on with your life, and you have to believe that it's not going to happen again. Otherwise you're in constant worry mode, and you won't do anything, you won't go anywhere.
For me, it's kind of, I could just look back on it and think what a horrendous thing I went through, but an amazing thing as well, because it's opened my eyes to kind of the ambulance service, HEMS, all of these amazing things the doctors do and the nurses.
It's a very strange feeling that's difficult to describe, that, you know, there is a woman that, but for her, you know, I wouldn't be here.
If it wasn't for the people that were there on the day, I don't think he wouldn't be here now. Most definitely not.
It just surprises me that really paramedics aren't given a lot more credit than they are.
I think they're guardian angels, in our case, they were lifesavers, literally, so they deserve all the credit they get. I'd say they really are amazing.
I would have to say a huge thank you to them for the way they handled the situation and helped my family, not just me.
Just wanted to say thank you for making sure I've got Alex, and you know, we've been together over 30 years, and you know, I want to kind of have a longer life, don't we? And we owe them everything, because you know, we would have lost a member of our family, and I don't want to lose him.
Everyone does their job. There are many jobs out there that I couldn't do at all, so for me I very much see it as this is what we're trained to do. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary, it is just our job. But I think I do appreciate that for them it was, you know, literally a life-changing day.
In the last 10 years I've only had the pleasure of reviving one other person that, you know, went back to work and continue enjoying life. It's going to be a real pleasure to meet him and to meet his family, and just to know that we make a difference.
I think it'll be really, really nice to see and hear like their side of the story. Yeah, I'm just a bit nervous.
Yeah, I think it's both our first times where we're going to meet someone after.
It's a proud achievement. It makes you realise why you're doing the job. It's a proud moment to be able to save someone's life, be able to successfully resuscitate them, and then to be able to meet them later on is a real achievement.
I think it's always lovely, you know, in the ambulance services general, we have very few opportunities to meet the patients that we see and that we try and help, certainly ones that are critically unwell. To have that opportunity to meet with those patients and their loved ones and see the success is a really wonderful thing.